Today, I'm breaking down the real projected numbers that we have for our budget in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire for a family of 6. So one thing that I always recommend people do is to ask people on the ground who have similar lifestyles as you to look at your budget, to look at your numbers. So I asked 2 friends who are on the ground. One of them is actually Patricia from Back to the Otherland. Her YouTube channel is fantastic if you want any information about moving to Côte d'Ivoire. Her family moved from Miami to Abidjan, and I really love her channel. She really helps me out behind the scenes with my budget and my preparation to make the move as well. So I really appreciate all the support and the help and the guidance that she is giving me as we are preparing for this move. So from rent to groceries, utilities, school, I'm about to show you all the numbers. And again, we are a family of 6, so your numbers might look a little different. This is not to live a luxurious lifestyle, neither it is to live a minimalistic lifestyle. It's just to be comfortable. So let's go look at the spreadsheet. So as we're planning our move to Abidjan, one thing that I really need, and mostly for my husband who is a math number person, is real numbers, not just the numbers that we get on Numbeo or the Earthways kind of website. Those are great. These are a great start. But like I said, you want real numbers from people who can confirm the range that you have to see if it's realistic or not. Because dreaming about moving abroad is great, but having a specific budget is strategic and it's the responsible thing to do. Unless you have unlimited funds, then who cares about the budget, right? So in this video, I'm not going to talk about the moving cost, like buying the plane tickets or the visa cost or residency fees or anything like that. It's all about a typical monthly budget as a family living in Côte d'Ivoire. So not the upfront cost for the move, like the first thing you have to do the first month you're there, but just a regular month, how it would be like to live there and sustain our lifestyle. So the first category is rent. Our projected rent is 700,000 CFA, which is about $1,200. So now the thing with Abidjan, again, with just like any major city, there are different zones. Some zones have lower rent, some higher rent. So this is kind of the middle. If you're familiar with Abidjan, this would be in the Cocody area. It's not a super posh. This is not Zone 4. This is a residential area somewhere in Cocody. So that would be a house, villa, not an apartment. So just a typical 3 to 4 bedroom house, but just a regular middle class area where you would have local Ivorians living. It's not an expat area. Okay, so that's the first thing. If you want cheaper rent, of course you can go lower, but also you want to be able to have proximity to certain schools. So that's why we're picking Cocody, because that's where the schools that we're looking at are located. Second thing is utilities. So I initially had 150 here, but my friend told me to add some more to it, and Patricia as well confirmed and said that I would definitely need to add more than 150. So that's why to be sure, I put it at 300,000 right here. I'm still not sure if it's bi-monthly or if it's monthly, but I'll have to double check that. Okay, so that's electricity. It's not cheap, mostly if you are used to having AC 24/7, which is kind of like what we're used to. So what you'll have to do is use the AC in the afternoons or in the evening when you're sleeping, and during the day, well, the kids are at school anyways. And for me, working from home, you can just open the windows, or you can work from a coffee shop, or you can just have it in on and off. Okay, so you don't have it blasting in all the rooms at the same time. You can have it in the living room or your office space, and that's that. The rest of the house, no AC. And then in the evening and at night, you can have it in the bedrooms as well, and not in the living room and all of that. So that's how you would manage to lower your cost of electricity. After that, we have water. I was told that water is pretty affordable. So I was told 40,000 francs, which is about 72 US dollars. As of today, the recording of this video, $1 is about 559 francs. So that's approximately how much it would be for us in terms of conversion. Okay, so I have internet and cable. So with a company like Orange, you would have a package where you would have internet at home as well as cable. Not that we watch a lot of TV. We usually go with like Netflix and the Hulus and all of those. So those subscriptions we will keep. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. But just because it comes with it, so it's a package, $65,000. I'm not about 65,000 francs, which is about $100, which I would say is pretty good compared to what we're paying here in the US. So, in terms of health insurance, this is the big one. This is what I have for the first year. So, the first year, if we were going with a company like Safety Wings, will have us cover 2 adults and 4 kids. It's about 200 something per adult and 100 and something per kid. So that's about $890 in total. So that's why I put $900 here. As we get there and we hear about other companies that could be better, then we would make the switch. But as of now, this is what I have on the budget. This is what Safety Wing is. This is what Safety Wings is quoting for us. Okay, so in terms of groceries, I had 500,000 here, which is about 800, let's say about $900, okay? And my friend is like, no, you'll probably be fine with 400,000. So I'm like, okay, from 900 to 700, I'm not mad at that. So I'm sticking to the $400,000. And again, my friend has 4 kids as well. And she has, I believe she has 2 full-time staff there, and also 2 other kids. So yeah, so she has more people in her house than me, and she said 400,000 is good. So I'm gonna trust her with the 400,000. Gas for one car, 100,000 francs, which is about a little less than $200. This is the assumption that we would have one car. We don't need 2 cars. Working from home, if we need to be in multiple places at the same time, taking a younger, which is the equivalent of an Uber, that will do the trick. So for now, one car is more than enough. And another thing about groceries is that we're going to have a mix of market food as well as supermarket food. Really not trying to get a lot of imported goods like Kellogg's cereal or Nutella, or all the imported things, because they cost a lot more, and focusing on locally made food, and also cooking a lot more at home, because when we're going to go down to staff, yes, so one of the staff is going to be to have somebody to help us cook at home. So that's why a lot of the grocery budget is allocated to fresh food, like to be cooked, to be made, and less about going out to eat, or less about processed food. Okay, so that's an important point that you have to take into consideration when you're putting together your groceries budget. And on top of that, if you have a big family like me, you can also shop at bulk stores like Costco style stores as well. That way you can save some money with that option too. Okay, so I wanted to make that note. When it comes to transportation, this is just for gas. It doesn't include maintenance or any just in case type of repair. I will have another category for the just in case something happens. Okay, so tuition, big expense because we are going to a French speaking country, and so it's going to have to be private school. Okay, there's no public English speaking school, just like here in the US where they're just going to public school. So you're gonna have to pay for it. You're gonna have to pay for it unless you want to homeschool, of course. That's also an option. But again, there's a different range of schools. You will have the fully American school slash international school that can cost about $10,000 to $20,000 a year per kid. You have the bilingual schools, you have other private schools, you have British schools, you have different types of schools that would either be bilingual or fully English language schools. So you have options, not a ton, but you really do have options. And so I was able to get some options that I like and speak to the director of one of the schools. And I like the choice that I make. And it's going to be about $1,200 per month total for 4 kids. So it's about $300 per month per kid, which it's okay. I mean, if you pay for daycare here in the US, you would pay $1,200 per month per kid, depending on where you're located. Okay, so this is okay. Again, that's where your budget is going to increase when you move abroad, but decrease in other areas. So, for example, in water, our budget is decreasing compared to here in the US, but schooling is increasing, right? So you're going to have to take these things into consideration as well. Now, one of my favorite section are the staff. For me, I have two. So I have somebody who can come and clean and somebody who can come and cook things for us. Both of them coming in a few times a week. It's not for a full on board thing where they get to live with you. We will see if we need this kind of support with time. But for now, on the budget, it's just based on them coming a few times a week to help with cleaning and cooking. So that's why I have that here for 200,000 francs, which is about 350 US dollars. Okay. Knowing that here I pay about $200 a month for cleaning services, and they're coming how many times a month? One time. Okay, so this is a huge lifestyle improvement, as you can see. Okay, eating out. I didn't want to cut out all the eating out. We do it once a week here. I'm like, okay, let's keep the tradition and eating out once a week as well for a family of six, 4 times a month, 150,000 francs, and that's a little less than $300 as of now. Okay, and this is not like fancy food. This is not Burger King or Pizza Hut type of food. This is like a sit down restaurant, nothing super fancy, but something nice where you can go with family or maybe going to eat somewhere at the beach, something regular. Okay, no bells and whistles, because we don't do bells and whistles here. So just a regular restaurant to go to eat some local food, nothing super fancy. Okay, so that's that. For hair and clothing, a little less clothing, because clothing will probably go into the unexpected things, if we need an extra pair of shoes, extra shirt for something at school, something like that, right? But for hair, I have it at $60,000. That will be for three. So for me and my two girls, so it would be about 20,000 francs to get your hair braided. When I went 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I got my hair braided for 15,000 francs, which is about $25, I think, something like that. And so once a month, 60,000, which is about $100 for total for the three of us. Okay, I didn't put the boys there because my husband usually cuts the boys' hair. Maybe he will have them go to the barber shop. I don't know. And my husband is bald, so no need for hair expenses for him. Okay, leisure for adults as well as leisure for kids. For adults, I had it as $30,000 per person, so 60,000 for my husband and I for one leisure activity. It could be for any kind of hobby, maybe going to the gym or, I don't know, doing tennis lessons or anything like that. Same for the kids for one leisure activity each, and that will be 120. Okay, so that's about $200 total per month, which is amazing. Okay, if you're a parent, you know how expensive sports can be for kids here. So 200 for 4 kids, amazing. If we want to add more activities, why not? But this is just basics, comfortable. You can add more. I would say not to have any leisure activities. That would be difficult. So definitely add that into your budget if you have kids. I mean, that's just regular living, right? Random expenses, I put $100 here just because. $100 for unexpected, because so for the random expenses, think about like birthday gifts for if they have a birthday party, or oh, I need something for school real quick, like pens or this, or just random things like a light bulb, things that might break. I will put in the unexpected, just like something for car repairs. This could be a little more than $100, but I have it at $100 for now. The other two are because we want to keep at least one US number. That's Google Fi, and then the VPN, because we're going to be able to use our Roku and continue to watch our shows on Netflix, Hulu, and all of that. So that's why I have $5 for the VPN. I think my husband uses ExpressVPN, if I'm not mistaken. So again, it's very important to have that a buffer of unexpected, because unexpected does happen. You have to expect the unexpected. Now, there are some expenses here on the side that I have here, because these will be expenses that we still have to take care of even if we're out of the country. Potentially storage fees, health insurance, because when we come back from vacation, we want to be able to be covered just in case something happens with the kids or ourselves, or if you need to go see the doctor just because for a checkup. So being able to have that available is important. Obviously, life insurance expenses doesn't stop. Mail services, HOA fees, subscriptions, like I mentioned earlier. Even if we are abroad, we want to be able to use our Roku and have access to our Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus subscriptions. And so that's something that we're not going to cancel. That's something that we're taking with us, and also paying for the VPN on a monthly basis. And I put a category for other just because I'm sure there'll be other things to add to this list. Okay, so now our grand total for our projected monthly expenses, not counting the expenses that we still have here in the US for life insurance, health insurance, and things like that. Just things that we need for our daily regular lives in Abidjan. It's going to be about 3,532,167 francs, which is about $6,272 every month. So let's running up to about $6,500, which is lower than our monthly budget here in the US. It's a little high because we are a family of 6, and also I have some buffers in there. So I'm pretty happy with the budget right now. And as you go and experience life, real life, in your destination, you get to adjust your budget. Maybe you cook more at home. Maybe you switch schools. Maybe you're going to switch the health insurance provider. You can always find ways to lower your cost of living. Okay, so with time, you're able to make adjustments. So now, let me know your thoughts about this budget. I have this template available for you in the description of this video if you want to get a copy of it. If you want to run your own numbers, these are my numbers. This is living in an expensive city in Africa. Abidjan is one of the most expensive cities on the continent, and it shows. It really shows. So you have to be prepared. Moving abroad can be cheaper, but not always. It doesn't always lower your cost of living, or even if it does in some categories, it increases it in others. We don't spend any money in education for our kids now because they go to public school, but then it's going to shoot up to $1,200 a month. Getting your hair braided in the US can cost you $200, $300, $400, and more. But over there, it's going to cost you the equivalent of $25. And again, this was for somebody coming to our house to braid my hair, including the tip. So if you're going to the salon, it might be even more affordable, again, depending on where you're going and all of that, right? So you have to understand the numbers. It's not just about, okay, well, let me just leave because my cost of living is going to be lower. It depends on your family structure. It depends on your lifestyle. And it depends also on where you are going. Other cities in Côte d'Ivoire are way, way, way more affordable than Abidjan. Just like the US, Houston is considered a lot more affordable than New York City, but Houston is considered more expensive than Casablanca, Morocco, for example, right? So you really have to do your research and look at specific cases for you, and specifically the city, specifically the neighborhoods that you're choosing, the schools that you're choosing, and all of that. So your budget is going to be your budget, okay? It's not mine. You can move to Abidjan and have a completely different budget from mine. At the end of the day, you want to be confident with the numbers that you have. So again, you want to move abroad, you have to prepare. Don't plan emotionally. You have to be strategic. Don't be afraid to run the numbers. You have to run the numbers and be realistic with your lifestyle and the real numbers from where you're moving to, okay? Make sure you get feedback from people on the ground who can give you an idea of if your numbers are realistic or not, depending on your lifestyle and your family structure, okay? And again, if you want to have the free budget spreadsheet, you can find it in the description of this video. If you want to learn more about what made me say yes to Abidjan, you can check out this video right here. Till next time, bye.